Hey guys, Stock Saturday, and if you're feeling brave, try and use my link for Trading212 and get free share, possibly. So rough week this week, not anything massive, but 7,000 down. This is seems to be partly chip shortage, so I've got quite a lot of stocks linked to semiconductors, and that had a bit of a rough week, realising the need for neon, which is largely produced in Ukraine. So that's had a bit of an issue, and potentially people getting concerned about Taiwan with the potential conflict. So yeah, that's had a knock-on effect on quite a lot. Crypto miners are down this week as well, so Argo and Hive have been hit, partly due to some crypto specific news, which probably best just to go through in the crypto video tomorrow. But yeah, there you go. Chinese stocks having a little bit of a drop this week as well, kind of across the board. Few small saviours, partly the REITs this week. So the ICE Trading212 ISA is only down 1,000 because some of the US REITs have been holding things up. Do seem to have a bit of negative correlation with ordinary stocks quite often, the REITs, so they've done quite well. Argo, as I say, 10% down this week. But looking good on the month, really, with Bitcoin not doing too bad. But yeah, a little bit of a rough week this week. Although their Texas facility is looking close to completion, they're saying they should be mining this quarter. So I would expect probably in about 2 months. They are going to have fairly good numbers. So they're mining about 160 Bitcoin a month at the moment, and they should be probably closer to 350 to 400. So that's pretty good. I am getting some dividends, got 1 or 2 dividends from the REITs, and I'll have a large one from Sylvania Platinum. The payment date has passed, but 212 take a few days to process these and get them through. So that would be going into Argo. Could probably get about 300 shares with the price as it is. Digital Realty Trust up 2 or 3%. First Majestic flat for the week. Realty, as I say, most of the US REITs are green, except Stag. A little bit of bucking the trend. Sylvania still hovering around. That really needs the chip shortage to end and car production to come back up. And the UK, well, Tritaxes are a little bit opposite, and Vinci's down a little bit as well. So it is mainly the more traditional US REITs that have done well, but yeah, we'll take that in a week that Argo is down 10%. And the invest account, some movers here. So Airtel's pretty flat. The tech stocks, the FANG stocks, are down. It does seem to be more confirmation from the Fed indicating they want to have their 6 or 7 rate hikes this year. I must say I'm sceptical. Seen a lot of people saying that they think they'll probably get to 2, 3, maybe 4 this year, and we could be into maybe not into recession, but concerned about a recession, and they may start holding off on those hikes. They've also been saying they would be shrinking the balance sheet by $60 billion, I believe, per month, which seems rather a lot. but we'll see. ASOS, so I made a video on this yesterday saying that I was thinking of selling, so I haven't just yet. Sort of a couple of comments from the Playing Footsie boys, which was very kind, which sort of made me re-look at them. Still probably want to have a bit more of a look. Might wait until the earnings on Tuesday and see where we go. But certainly give the Playing Footsie boys a watch. Good channel, good podcast. What else we got? Barrett, almost completely flat for the week, although moving quite a bit. Bristol Myers, 5.3% for the week. Seems to be some good sort of drug news and regulatory news. It's very complex to look into some of their news, but pretty good. Broadcom, so this is the start of the semiconductor trend that they're pretty much all going to be down, with sort of tech as well. eBay sort of following tech. FedEx doesn't really seem all that bad news. The earnings were sort of 2 or 3 weeks ago, not hugely positive, but I didn't see anything terribly bad with them. So they've seen a bit of a drop. Glencore just carries on going up. Copper price is still doing pretty well, and sort of nickel looking reasonably good. So crack the 70% on that now. Hymax, very volatile. So again, yesterday I sort of was talking about making the ASOS Hymax move. It's gone down even further since that video, so wouldn't have been the best buy, but certainly looking into it even more now, potentially selling sort of, don't know, I start looking at a lot of my other stocks and thinking, is this really better than Hymax looking forward? Intel down slightly. The ETFs haven't really moved. Johnson & Johnson carrying on in the green. I don't really sort of cover this too much, but it is sort of, kind of a steady mover. I caught it at a reasonable point. But what else we got? Legal & General. Lennar, 9% down for the week. So I think this is sort of concerns on the housing market and sort of interest rates. Had some fairly poor mortgage and sort of housing news out of the US. So I think this is sort of partly reflecting that. As I say, I'm still sceptical that they're going to be able to raise rates to what they're saying. But the bond market is pricing it in. So your sort of even short-term bonds now are at sort of 2.6%, where sort of base rate is 0.5%. But we'll see where they go. Meta Platforms down slightly with the tech stocks. Micron down with the semiconductors. Nintendo back in the trend as they always do. Kind of do their own thing, which I like. Porsche seems to be down as always. Process, 10 cent. As I say, Chinese stocks still taking a bit of a hit. Rio Tinto sort of pretty much flat. Samsung down with the rest of the tech and semiconductors. Shell just keeps going up. Oil, even though oil's down to sort of $100, I think, on Brent, natural gas not looking too bad, and I think people are just coming to the realisation of how much they are making, even with $100 oil. So their earnings, just looking at the sort of analyst expectations, even on Yahoo, you can sort of see them week by week going up. So I think that just starts to get priced in. Sort of looking at a forward PE of 7 based on what they've now increased to. So that's pretty good. Doesn't show it here, but I think I am nearing 90% profit on that now. So it's been a great hold. Yeah, most of these others are sort of down 5% or so. Stellantis a little bit more. Again, looking at the other stocks and sort of thinking, is it worth just taking a bit of profit or selling completely and putting more into Stellantis? It's a very risky bet, of course. They do need to sort of push more into electric vehicles, and they're saying, even the CEO is saying that is difficult. So we'll see, but I still like it. TSMC now under $100, which is bullish for me, considering they still sort of hold a fair monopoly. Taylor Wimpey, not too bad this week. Tesla down with the other tech stocks. Tyson Foods bucking the trend. Yeah, as well, noticing Archer Daniels, which I have sold out of and has sort of continued rising. So I sold it in the sort of 90s, I believe, and that's carried on. Really surprised it's still going, but yeah, can't win them all. So Tyson doing quite well. Vale down a little, and yeah, Volkswagen down a little. Just seems to be not like, well, Volkswagen's had quite a lot of bad news recently with the barge that sunk and sort of Russian production, chip shortage, and all sorts really. So yeah, I still think they look pretty good. They have come out and yeah, there was a bit of news this week about sort of, I think, taken the wrong way about slashing a lot of models. They sort of said that they're slashing sort of a number of petrol and diesel models by the end of the decade, and that's sort of been, personally, I think, blown out of proportion by a lot of people. People sort of saying they're in crisis mode and they're going bust and all the usual stuff. But I mean, if you think about the electric switch, it's kind of a given that they would be axing a lot of petrol and diesel models. They're not just making carbon copies. They're not making an electric Golf. They did do that, but they seem to be building new models from scratch, and they've got the ID range. I guess they see the ID3 as the sort of electric equivalent to the Golf, and yeah, so maybe the Golf doesn't get scrapped, but certainly sort of going forward, some of the sort of lesser known models may get sort of scrapped in favour of an electric model. I don't believe they're going to suddenly slim down to a quarter of the models or a tenth of the models and just leave it. They'll be replaced by electric models. So yeah, one to sort of bear in mind with some of the other YouTubers are sort of chasing clicks really, and putting sort of bold thumbnails, maybe with false claims. But that's just my opinion. So yeah, leave your thoughts in comments below, and like and subscribe. See you soon.